Bye-bye treaty. The earth burns on the day I take my leave. Wild prairie sky watches over me change from vibrant, wide-open blue to murky, muddy mustard. These are not impressionist clouds revealing reflections of history and the mundane, but the breath of fire. North smoke traveling without malice south on gusts of winds, taking a fancy path on whim. No sun. As I prepare an honorable goodbye, ancestors of children I have made friends, land, wisdom not found in treaty articles of old, old politics, like babies born to monarchs. Current generations adopt a lot of responsibility, larger constitutions before they are born. Our signatures, not required. At noon on Thursday in May of 2019, the sky offers little light. Quickly, we forget colors of summer. Whiskey jacks bounce around without retreat. They take nothing for granted, but calculate losses made invisible on this day. Farewell, farewell, my cousins, kin, relations. I am your Iroquois sister, and carry your descendants, shaggy, beautiful buffalo, back home with me inside my happy heart. Of all places, my connection here feels ancient. I hope with greatness I have made contributions. Inspiration resonates within light when we see the sun again. Listen to each other breathe. Seasons are made from treaties, not bad decisions, but agreements, negotiated cleverly by old deities when they roamed a very different earth than today. These spirits exist as collective consciousness of the people. Awarenesses awake them, makes changes in delicate, deliberate, and very slow motion waves. We've got no reason to complain. Except for the water, except for the weather. When we reach into the earth, we have no words to define what we once recognized and had libraries of languages to describe. So we stand, closed eyes, side by side. Listen to each other breathe. Work the prayers. Together into the center, this is unromantic. This is reclamation and proactivity. Go! Pull smoke from the pipe. Wash it over your thoughts. Sense the tingle on the tongue. That's herbs manifesting peace words. Hold the berries and remember, fun. Contagious. Love is silliness. But it is never just love. Source text. How does land hold features to inform physicality, national politics? We're born with it. Survive it, or do away with it. Pronounced memories of who we are through recall, grasping an identity without documentation, community validation, collective citizenship, making decisions. Faces of place blossoming inside clouds forming before we got here. Lands rich in ridiculous statues. Decay of natural realizations. Essential reading, source text manipulation, discovery, our stories, together even though they want to close our libraries. Zero culture shock. For Kevin Ross, Dublin taxi driver. The driver is a storyteller studying myths at the local university. Of course he is. This is Dublin. He tells me all the celebrated saints are men after I tell him our origin story is centered around a woman. Bridget is she who looks after fertility for the people. The one not honored, perhaps this is the root of the famine. The driver calls it genocide, and some say this is contentious. Politics. All the Irish are born into it, survive it. Dublin looks like Canada, so he must be indigenous. Massive rose windows on the face of cathedral stare back in curiosity at this Canadian, not Canadian, Haudenosaunee visiting. What are you going to do over at the UCD? I beg his pardon twice. The love of building monuments to themselves comes from here, brought over and planted like flags on our lands as if we needed more of them to show up in stone. Do not mourn the statues as they drop in succession. There are plenty more littering the world as we speak. Recycled stone of their ancestors, and so it goes. Mohawk? He asks. I say yes. He tells of the time when Choctaw sent food to the starving. Knowing is compassion. Starvation is the link. 9 giant-sized silver feathers erected circular in cork. Landmark to kindness, called kindred spirits. More story, he tells me. It's Moses' basket that keeps replaying in modern day tragedies like Hope's Sake. We keep hearing of the baby saved, thrown from the window. Laws of gravity say this is impossible. Where do we draw the line? Heartstrings and newspapers. In Dublin, I experienced no culture shock. Touring origins of continental colonialism, asylum seekers bringing all the furniture and fixtures, brutal memories, advanced historical reenactments. The lies are in the retelling, and gaps where story stops. Calls to action. Looking to the left, then right, positioning ourselves somewhere in this redress, patching up our wounds like road crews in the commission of truth, merging and making square, armed with these calls to action. Numbered requests, so many suggestions. Prescriptions, all beginning with, we call upon the federal, provincial, territorial, and Aboriginal governments. Equalizing compensation, busted KKK Canadians, remedies for the Malays. Restoring stripped dignity upon territories by eradicating the spanking law. That's all. Monitoring our own neglect, administering our own medicines, handling the sliding scale, and setting new precedents and measurements of success. Authoring treaties and dissolving 2-way for 4-way language portals, culture including clauses for non-compliance. Prison term punishments. Let's try it. All things defined by adequate funding. Have we learned nothing but how to correspond in dollars with the white man? For over time, what we find to be adequate will inevitably evolve, as will this law. No land, no advancements, no chance for balance, only more handouts. Who do we make the check out to? The UN Declaration reads as undeclared. Let's pump the brakes right here. Indigenous rights and meaningless concepts, absent of commitment, a signatureless contract, our words left flapping like tattered flags over Parliament's decaying brick home. Rights, rights. Reconcile, reconcile. Response, response. Relocate, relocate. D is for independent decisions and safe drinking water. E is for expressions of interest, evolving realities, Winter Olympics actually being cited as successful relations unprecedented for host First Nations. Get our regalia on and dance for the good white people. Contributions to the larger cultural national fabric. Upon closer examination, the garment is frayed and worn, patched with mismatched fabrics, darning them together, damning it forever. Too little, too late. Drums and feathers. Incantations and chants. Environmental tourism, omit the history eliminated by name changes. Singing in ceremonies for your listening enjoyment. Our employment. A collective dream and shotgun wedding, nightmares written in legalese, still calling on the crown to join pen to paper. Royal proclamations adopting Indigenous lives, never. Agreements with the master with diamond-encrusted collars, still choking. Spiritual self-determination, hot lava beds of policymaking. Creation stories taught as myth. Not Bible books, but oral legacies the way it was meant to be, misinterpretations to suit the season. We are the rich fine wine, improving with age, improving health, improving negotiation. demanding the people's apology, funding museums and the Canadian Federation of 2017. 150 years of deceased school children buried treasures in unmarked graves. TRC of Canada, I trust a TRC of Mafia more. There may be no honor among thieves, at least their treaties come with a timeline and no fault clause. Honor? Our honor? How much does that cost?